Hello and welcome back to Fluttering Butterflies. My name is Michelle and I'm here today in a different place in my house to film this video because I felt like I was kind of in a rut filming in the same place at the same time, so I just felt like a change of scenery would do me good. Sorry it's not a more interesting view. I'm sitting in the middle of my stairs with this camcorder propped up on a bookshelf here, and normally I'd try and angle it so that I was sitting in front of the book so you could see some books, but like I said, I'm trying something new. And anyway, I'm sharing with you my January book haul, so hopefully seeing my books will be exciting enough for you. So let's get started. I have 15 books sent from the publishers this month, and I also have 7 books that I bought myself. It was a very, very exciting month for me, January. Here we go. The first book I wanted to share with you is a book I've already read. This is Mind Your Head by Juno Dawson with advice from Olivia Hewitt and illustrated by Gemma Coral. This was published this month by Hotkey Books. This is a non-fiction guide to help teenagers and young people and just people in general with mental health. It's a really great book. It's quite short. I think that my only criticism, if you can call it that, is that I wanted there to be more to it, but it does a great job for what it is, discussing different issues involving mental health and general well-being. It talks about addiction and anxiety and depression, self-harm, eating disorders, grief, all sorts, and it does it in this really great informal way with different case studies and advice from a clinical psychologist. It has fun illustrations and it is just told in a really caring and compassionate way. I really enjoyed this one. Next up I have this gorgeous copy of My Life Next Door by Huntley Fitzpatrick, and then Electric Monkey sent some gorgeous Laffy Taffies. A recipe, how cute is this, for Grace Reed lemonade? And I loved opening this book from Electric Monkey. I've already read this book, but I'm so glad that it's being published in the UK, about a girl who falls in love with a boy next door, and he's got this big chaotic family and it's completely different to her own life. I really, really love stories involving larger families, and I loved the places that this book went. Next up from Barrington Stoke, I got this gorgeous copy of A Dark Trade by Mary Hooper. You know I'm not a huge fan of historical fiction, but I love the books that I've read so far that are historical from Barrington Stoke as well as from Mary Hooper. I don't know very much about this book. I've just briefly read the back of it, and it's set in London in I don't even know when, and it's about a girl who catches the eye of somebody in the house that she's working for, and it becomes dangerous for her, so she changes her identity from a girl into a boy. And you know, gender identity stories, they're so much fun, and I'm really, really excited to read this one. Next up from Chicken House, I have this gorgeous copy of Beetle Boy by M.G. Leonard. I have a proof copy of this book, but holy crap guys, look! How absolutely gorgeous are the beetles on these page edges, and just the color of this book, just everything about it, it makes me think pretty. Now the next book is really exciting. I didn't know very much about the book previous to this social media campaign, but I got a copy of Burning Midnight by Will McIntosh, and this is a book from Macmillan that's coming out this year. This cover, you guys, all of these bubble things are raised and super shiny. Look at that. It's mesmerizing, and the lovely folks at Macmillan have paired up this beautiful copy of a book with these cards. And all of these cards have superpowers on them. Like this one is chocolate, and the effect of this is enhanced strength and physique, which I would love. And it's somehow tied in with this book about superpowers and what price you would pay to have these superpowers. And they have this campaign in which you're supposed to match a certain card with somebody else. And I have this one. This is the gold rarity 10 card. And again, super exciting, I received this lovely package in the post at the beginning of the month. And when I opened it, I did actually let out a whole big squeal of excitement, because let me show you everything that's going on in this book. First of all, it's a copy of the new Sophia Bennett love song, and that is so exciting. I'd be excited enough with just that. This book is being published in April by Chicken House Books. I'm so excited. I do love Sophia Bennett so very much. But along with this gorgeous book, they have so many cute things. First of all, they have this coaster in the shape of a record, right? And it has my name on it. So it's a personalized coaster, which is so cute. It also says love song here and Sophia's name there and some other things. But I love it so very much. I was also sent this lanyard. Look, it's a VIP pass, access all areas. Oh, that's so cute. I was also sent some love hearts and this very lovely badge, which I will wear with pride. Thank you so much to Chicken House for sending me all of these lovely things. Next group of books came all together, and I think that everyone watching this can understand the excitement of a great big box filled with books that arrives especially unexpectedly. It was a complete surprise. I had no idea that this box of books was arriving for me. But one day, all of these books arrived from Curious Fox with a lovely letter saying how much they adore book bloggers, and because they adore book bloggers so much, they were sending me a great big box of surprises just for me, and I loved that. The first book that I pulled out was Book of Masks, and this is a wearable book. Isn't that great? And honestly, let me show you one more. Some books, they just make me happy, and this book is definitely one of them. I also received this second copy of Lois Lane Fallout by Gwenda Bond. This sounds like it's going to be a really big one for Curious Fox this year, and I'm so excited for it. I'm really excited to get going with it. I love the very concept of it. I also received this book. It's called Image and Imagination, and it's Ideas and Inspiration for Teen Writers by Nick Healy and Kristen McClurry. I'm not a teen writer, but I think that anyone can appreciate a book full of ideas and inspiration. It has some really lovely photos in this book, as well as some text. Asking questions, like this one says, if you could save only one photo of yourself, what would it show? And this book is filled with all sorts of different questions like that. I'm not a teen. I haven't been a teen for many years, but I will still get plenty of inspiration from this book. Other books by Curious Fox, some of them were published in previous years, like this book, Diary of a Mall Girl by Louisa Playa. I also got this one, The Diamond Thief by Sharon Gosling, and The Ruby Airship, also by Sharon Gosling. I also got a copy of Alex as well by Alyssa Brugman, and The Serpent's House by B. Davenport. All of these books sound incredibly intriguing, and I think this is the new one coming out this year called Baker's Magic by Diane Zoller. I don't know very much about it, but I really think that it is a book about baking and a book about magic and how those two kind of combine. I really love the very simple cover here. What a fun box of books to open. I love how intriguing they all sound, how much fun they are. It made opening this box and flicking through these books made me smile and laugh and think. And it was just very happy making. So those are the books that were sent for review this month. Now I'm going to get into the books that I bought myself. I did buy 2 books new this month, and the first was The Buried Giant by Kazuo Ishiguro. This is an author that I'd read previously. I've read several of his books in the past and really enjoyed them. This was kind of a whim buy. I didn't set out to purchase this book, but I saw it on the shelf and it kind of caught my eye. I feel like with all of the reading slumps that I've been in and that have lasted a good 6-8 months, it just kind of shows me that I really need to do something to change up my reading choices. And I feel like I kind of need to branch out a little bit more from the YA books. I do love YA, I will always love YA, but I do kind of feel pulled in other directions lately. As you could see probably with my Bookish Brits video recently about poetry, I do have some other things coming up that I'm hoping to do on this channel. And I think that maybe this year I have to probably focus on changing and kind of evolving the ways that I'm reading and exploring words and language and literature. The other book that I bought new was this book, Reasons to Stay Alive by Matt Haig. It was a book that I had always been curious about. It's a book about Matt Haig dealing with his own depression. I think it's like part memoir, but part also like self-help sort of inspirational guide, and I think that it would be really interesting to read. I did pick it up after reading Mind Your Head earlier on in this month. But because the whole topic of mental illness is definitely one that is close to my heart, and I feel like I really want to read more in this sort of area and talk about it a little bit more with you guys. Last 5 books I picked up on a book buying binge that I went on in which I traveled through all of the charity shops in my area, and I just picked up whatever caught my eye, and I was really lucky that I found 5 books that did that. The first book is this one, The Paying Guests by Sarah Waters. Again, similar to The Buried Giant, as I was walking around looking at these books, it did make me think that Sarah Waters was an author that I really loved previously. I read her books before I really got into the YA book blogging thing, but I have at least 2 of her books on my shelves unread that I bought, hoping to read her books, and then I was so swept up in reviewing other books sent to me for review that I never got around to it. And this month actually my book club are reading this book as one of their choices, and I didn't realize it was this thick though. I'm probably gonna take this with me on holiday soon and hope that I can get a fair way through it, but we'll see. And I do just want to get back into reading some of the authors and stories that I used to enjoy before all of the YA took over. Next up we have Starseeker by Tim Bowler. I've only read the one book by Tim Bowler before, and it was one of his latest ones. And then he was at YA Shot last year, and I did really want to read other books by him. And I didn't get around to it because of the reading slumps that I was in. So I saw this book in a charity shop, and it's in amazing condition. And I couldn't pass it up. I think it was only like 50p. So hopefully I'll get to that one soon. I also picked up this book, Canal Dreams by Ian Banks. I don't know very much about this book in particular, but I remember ages ago when I was still reading the 1001 Books to Read Before You Die book, and sort of following some of its recommendations, was that Ian Banks was an author that had popped up on that list. I don't know if this made it on the list or not, but I did read, I have read a couple of his books before. I did really enjoy his writing style, and I think somebody I was talking to recently also recommended Ian Banks again, so his name was probably on my mind as I was wandering around these charity shops. And again, great condition. It's so hard for me to pass up books that are so wonderfully kept with such cheap prices. The book that I picked up was this book, Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Her books, again, I really enjoyed Purple Hibiscus when I read it years ago. I have her other book, Half a Yellow Sun, is that what it's called, on my shelf to read. I've read her collection of short stories and loved them. There are stories and authors that I wanted to read more of, and yeah, I think I'm just saying the same sort of things again and again. I want to go back to some of the adult reading that I used to do before YA. And the last book that I wanted to share with you during this book haul is actually my favorite purchase of the entire month. Again, it's not a book that I set out to buy. I just saw it on the shelf and it just inspired me to pick it up, and that's this book. It's called Love Letters, an anthology chosen by Antonia Fraser, and it's a collection of different love letters that have been collected, and Antonia Fraser is collected these love letters and put them into groups that she's created herself, like declarations, I presume, of love, pleas, rejections, which, ooh, fears and worries, passions, jealousies, and it's just all sorts of different people. These to Abelard, which I think is going to be amazing. Lucretia Borgia to Pietro Bembo, just different people from different periods of time writing letters on love. And I just feel like, similar to the poetry that I've been reading lately, that I could just sort of dip into a love letter here and there. But, that actually isn't the reason that I picked it up. Well, I guess it's part of the reason, obviously, but another main reason that I picked this book up is, and I've shared this on my Instagram, but I'm going to share it again with you now, is this inscription that I found in the front cover, which reads, "Nick, hope this makes up for some of my feeble efforts. All my love, Joe." And it has 2 kisses, and it's dated July of '86. And I love secondhand books for this very reason. It feels like there's so much possibility with old and used books, that I can pick up this book, and it already has a story to tell besides the story that's in it, and that is this relationship between Nick and Joe all these years ago, and their love for each other, whatever that may have been. And I love that. I love how Nick and Joe's story hasn't ended, because it's been picked up again and carried on by me, and I love that. I love that about used books in particular. I'm just getting cheesy and soft in my old age. These are all of the books that I bought myself or were sent for review during the month of January. Do let me know where you think I should start. What do you think about my new my new setup, huh? Let me know your thoughts, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you again next time.